Hey guys, welcome to the very first installation of the Original Strength Movement Snax podcast. I am Tim Anderson and I will be your host during these podcasts. And so if you don't know, Original Strength is a movement education company that me and a friend started about 5 years ago. And all we do is we remind people of how they're designed to move. Basically, we remind people that they are actually made to be strong and healthy and feel good throughout their entire lives. So that's what we do. And for the last, I don't know, also 5 years, maybe 4, I've been making a weekly movement snack or just little movement videos that you can do that will, if you do them, will help you feel better and move better. So this is our first podcast, and I thought, what better way to have a first podcast than to tell the actual story of how all of this got started. So this is a crazy story. I'm not making any of this up. I may change some names to protect the innocent, but this is full of vitamins, kettlebells, weightlifting, just mayhem. So this is the story of how Original Strength got started. So if you're ready, here we go. So what happened is that I was a firefighter and I also had a part-time job as a personal trainer. And when I say I had a part-time job, I was training people out of my garage as a personal trainer. And I found out about some vitamins. This is a crazy story. Well, they were supplements really. And I decided that I liked the supplements and I was going to try to earn income with them. So I was going to tell people about them and try to get them to buy the supplements. So I started traveling around and I found an exercise sales company where they sold weights and machines, treadmills and things like that. And I went in to talk to this guy about these amazing supplements that I had found that would help him perform better and get stronger. And he interrupted me. He really wasn't interested in my supplements. And he said, you know what I think you would be interested in is these things called kettlebells. And I'd never heard of kettlebells before. And he goes, yeah, they're these little, like they look like cannonballs with handles. And he goes, there's this Russian guy. He's got this video out there. It looks kind of crude because he said the Russian guy was dry humping the air. He goes, but if you can get past that, it's a really neat exercise. And I think you'd really like it. He goes, I had some in my garage, but I sold them last week. So here's the funny part about that story is he interrupted me telling him about vitamins to tell me that I would be interested in kettlebells and he thought I'd really like them. And he had some, but he liked them well enough to sell them and get rid of them. Anyway, I went home that day and I looked up on the internet kettlebells and I was fascinated with them. So I ordered some. I got this Russian guy's books, Pavel Satsulin. I got his books, I got his DVDs, and I started training with kettlebells like crazy. And then I found out they had a 3-day certification to learn how to do kettlebells. And while I was training with them, I was training all my clients on the stuff that I had learned from the books and the videos. But I decided I would go take this 3-day certification. And so I go there, and on the last day of the certification, the owner of the company told everyone that they were having their website updated where people could rate their kettlebell instructors to show how good they were as instructors, and that we should do that if we wanted to build our business. So naturally, I went home from this 3-day kettlebell cert and I asked all my clients to rate me as their kettlebell instructor. And fortunately, they all did. Well, by the way, that was 3 8-hour days of kettlebell training. During that time, that's a lot of volume, by the way. I set myself up for some overuse injuries. But anyway, 2 weeks later, there was a level 2 kettlebell cert that was also 3 days. And I was so excited about kettlebells, I wanted to do that. So I went for another 3 8-hour day kettlebell certification just 2 weeks later. So I never recovered because I had to train for the next cert. So I set myself up for really good overuse injuries. However, remember, I had all my clients rate me as a kettlebell instructor, and here's where I'm going with this. About that time, 2 weeks later, maybe 3, the owner of the company decided to take the top 10 rated people as kettlebell instructors and put them in his magazine called the Hardstyle Magazine. I don't know if you ever saw that magazine, but it was a pretty neat magazine. Anyway, this magazine comes out and it's got the top 10 kettlebell instructors of the entire world in there as rated on by their clients. So at the time, since it was a new platform, I was one of the few people that got their clients to rate them as a kettlebell instructor. So this magazine comes out and there's all these amazing fitness, top 10 people in the world, best kettlebell instructors in the world, and I'm number 9 out of like just fitness icons, which was really pretty neat. Like, you know, people like David Whitley, Steve Maxwell, it's just amazing people. And me. So I get in this magazine. Now I've gotten two 3-day, 8-hour kettlebell certs, and I've got overuse injuries. I'm telling you all this because a guy named John Brookfield got the magazine and he was looking in it, and for some reason my cell phone number was in the magazine. Anyway, John Brookfield saw my name in the magazine and saw where I lived, and he said, well, this guy lives really close to me. So he called me up. Now, if you don't know who John Brookfield is, you should, because he is the creator of the BattlingRopes training system. And what that means to you is that the entire world knows how to do exercise with a rope, making waves in a rope, because of that guy, John Brookfield. Now, that's just one of the things he's done. He's also a performing strongman, old-time strongman. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records for multiple things. He has the world record for pulling a 40,000-pound tractor-trailer truck 1 mile in under an hour. I think he may have done it under 50 minutes. He's done it a few times. But anyway, this guy, John Brookfield, is amazing. Anyway, so he calls me up and he spends an hour on the phone with me trying to convince me who he is, because I don't know who he is. So I had to get on YouTube and check him out, and you should check him out. Look up John Brookfield on YouTube and look at something called the Tower of Terror. He is juggling a 115-pound kettlebell as if it weighs about 1 pound, tossing it up in the air. It looks so effortless. Anyway, so John calls me up and he tells me that I would be very interested in his new training system called the BattlingRopes. So for whatever reason, I strike up a relationship with John because he saw me in his Hardstyle magazine. And oh, by the way, more of this stuff here. So my arms are now getting all kinds of love. Overuse. So, but anyway, John takes me under his wing. He starts mentoring me. He just really pours a lot of love into me, and teaches me a lot of great things about how the body can do anything as long as the mind is willing. Now, that's one aside to the story. By the way, John Brookfield, this is crazy. He was trying to break the world record for pulling a tractor trailer truck, and he was trying to improve his work capacity. So he told me the story is that he asked God to show him how to improve his work capacity to break the world record for pulling a tractor trailer truck 1 mile. And he said that God showed him how to use ropes for exercise to build work capacity. And that is the story of how the BattlingRopes exercise system was created. So what I'm telling you is the whole world knows how to exercise with a rope because John Brookfield asked God to show him how to pull a tractor trailer truck 1 mile faster to break the world record. True story. All right, so now I get overuse injuries from all this kettlebell training, and I got to fix it because I'm too stupid to stop and rest so my body can recover. So I learned about corrective exercises, and I learned a lot. So I learned how to fix things. But the problem was I wasn't fixing anything. I was just chasing my tail. You can chase things and they might seem better for a little while, but then something else pops up. So I was getting very frustrated because I wanted to keep training, and I was still training, but I couldn't train the way I wanted to because I was hurting, and I was learning all this cool stuff about how not to hurt, only I couldn't obviously do it right because I still hurt. And I was getting upset one night, and I was feeling really fragile because, guys, I don't know if you know this, but I love Superman. I'm 44 years old. I've always wanted to be Superman when I grow up, and when I grow up, I want to be Superman. So I'm sitting at home one night thinking about my overuse injuries and how I've learned all this really cool stuff, but I can't fix myself because, well, I just can't. but I know I'm understanding the material, but I just can't. Something's not working. So I'm getting upset and I'm feeling not like Superman. I was feeling just kind of broke, kind of frustrated. And I remembered John Brookfield's story, how he created the BattlingRopes by just asking God to show him how to train to improve his work capacity. So I was sitting there and I said, well, if John can do it, why can't I? So no joke, I asked God to show me how to train to become bulletproof like Superman. And within 2 weeks, I picked up a book in the house that was about learning disorders in children. It's called Smart Moves. It's a really good book. Anyway, it's about learning disorders in children and how simple movements can help cure or reverse learning disorders. And God just kind of connected the dots, and I knew that the body had everything it needed to heal itself and to be strong always throughout life. So that's really how Original Strength got started in that aspect. But then, so I was telling my friend about this. I was over at his house for Easter, and he looks at me and he says, man, you should write a book. Which was funny because, well, that was not even on my radar. In high school, I was told that I really wasn't a good writer. So I wasn't thinking about writing a book. But did I mention I was a firefighter? So, by the way, I was a firefighter, a full-time professional firefighter, and I didn't like being a firefighter anymore. I had 2 little babies, and I was missing a lot of Christmases, and the job was dangerous, and I was thinking about my kids. So I'm sitting in a staff meeting one day. It was a 3-hour staff meeting. And I turned over the meeting minutes. We had a 4 pages of meeting notes, and they were blank on the other side. So I turned them over and I just started writing about all the stuff that I had learned about how the body works and how the body's designed to heal. And at the end of the meeting, I had 4 whole pages worth of just top to bottom filled up of notes. And I was like, oh, I've got a book. So I wrote a book. I didn't know what to do with this book though. But I had met this guy at some of these kettlebell certs his name was Dan John. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dan John, but he's Mr. Icon Fitness Man right now. He's hot. If you don't know Dan John, you need to look up Dan John. Go to danjohn.net. That man is a genius. Also, I love him because he, like John Brookfield, changed my life. So I had this book that I didn't know what to do with, and for whatever reason, I thought I'm going to reach out to this Dan John guy. And I'm going to call him, and sure enough, he answers the phone. Don't know why. He's just like that. But he tells me that I should call this lady named Lorraine Draper, who is his book publisher. So he gives me her number. I call her. She's a really sweet lady. She's married to Dave Draper. I'm so close to all these famous people. Close, but not necessarily know them. But I know Dan John. And he told me to call Lorraine Draper. So I call Lorraine Draper, and she spends an hour on the phone with me. And she's really nice to me. She pours into me. She doesn't want to publish my book, but she tells me how to self-publish it. So I create a PayPal link. I create a PDF. I put it on the internet. But then what, right? So I don't know what to do. Well, all I know is that the kettlebell company that I went learning from, the RKC, they had an exercise forum. So I go on this exercise forum, and I say, hey, guys, I just wrote this little book. I think it'll really help you with your kettlebell lifting, help you move better, feel better, and so you'll hurt less. And so my phone was set up where every time somebody bought a PayPal book, my phone would ding. Now the day I put this on the forum, some guy bought it, and he read it, and it was a really short book. He read it in about 10 minutes, well, maybe 20. But he liked it, and he put it on his exercise blog. And I didn't know this, but the day I put it on the forum, my phone goes ding, somebody bought the book, yay. And then it goes ding, and I was like, oh, cool. And then ding. So I'm training clients, and all of a sudden my phone's going ding, 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 ding. The book was blowing up. Guys, the first day I put it on the forum, the exercise forum, I had a PayPal link, people are buying this book. It was only $4. A cup of coffee cost more than the book did. But they were buying the book. And what I found out was that one of the guys that bought the book, the guy that put it on his exercise forum, had over 1 million visitors to his blog a month, and he had one of the top 10 rated exercise blogs in the world, voted on by Outside Magazine. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. So the day I put it on the internet to sell on a exercise forum, one guy buys it. His name is Chris Highcroft. Chris, if you watch this video, I still love you. I've never met you, but I hope one day I do. He put it on his blog, recommended it to his readers, and they were buying it. Here's the cool thing. Everybody all over the world was buying the book except for America. It was crazy. And I would get emails of people, like I could see where they're from, so it was really neat. People in Australia, Scotland. Oh, Chris Highcroft lived in Scotland. That was the whole point of that. People from Germany, all these other countries, not really a lot of United States, which was neat. But then I got this one email from a guy. I was like, oh, this guy named Chip Morton bought the book, and he's with the Cincinnati Bengals. So that was crazy. So I emailed this guy named Chip Morton just to thank him for buying the book, and I reached out to him. He emailed me back also, and I struck up a relationship with him. He invited me to come up to the Cincinnati Bengals to show his coaching staff how to press reset. So I've skipped a lot of stuff here, but in Original Strength, we just remind people how they're designed to move, and we call it pressing reset because change happens at the speed of your nervous system, and when you tap into the very movements that you were designed to make, that changes like that, and it's like hitting a reset button. And then the body's free to move and express itself just like it was designed. So it's amazing. It's just amazing how wonderful the body is made. Anyway, Chip Morton invites me up to, I'm from a little town called Fuquay Varina, and my school mascot was a Bengal tiger. So my entire life, all I knew was Bengal tigers. Chip Morton invites me up to the Cincinnati Bengals, whose colors and the mascot was the exact same as what I grew up with. So it could not have been it was just an unreal dream. And he was in Cincinnati, I'm in North Carolina. It's like an 8-hour drive. I rented a car I think it was the first time I ever rented a car. And I show up to get my rental car, and they said, Mr. Anderson, we don't have your car. But if it's all right with you, we can, we'll let you rent a Mustang. It's on, same price, you can have a Mustang. Guys, growing up, my favorite car in the world was a Mustang. They take me outside, I see this brand new, beautiful white Mustang. I start walking over there to it, and it goes, oh, no sir, no, not that one. Yours is over there. I kid you not, it was a brand new convertible, orange and black Mustang. Did I mention I was gonna go see the Cincinnati Bengals, the orange and black team, and I just got a new rental car, my favorite car, but it was orange and black also. So again, I can't make this stuff up, guys. Longer story short, the book blows up. We start doing workshops. People actually like it. They start coming. Somewhere along the line, I start making a YouTube channel and start doing videos. Amazing things happen. I end up at the Cleveland Cavaliers to train their coaching staff on how to press reset. I end up in Australia. I'm from Fuquay Varina. It's a very, very tiny town right below Raleigh. I've never been anywhere until all this started. I've been to Australia like 4 times, Germany 2 times. I've been to Italy, France, all of that to say it's just been an amazing story. It's an amazing journey. That's really the story of how all this got started, and there's so much more I left out that's even crazier. But that's my story. And anyway, if you don't get anything else from that, your body is amazing. It's wonderful. It's wonderfully designed. You are made to be strong and healthy your entire life. You're not supposed to break down as you age. That's just garbage. Your body knows how to heal. If you hurt, your body knows how to fix that. So anyway, all of that to say is you're made to feel good. That's the design. And it's a wonderful design. So if you made it through this entire story, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this channel. I promise Tim's BodCast, the blogcast or podcast will get better as we go. Like I said, this is the first one. I'm just trying it out. I appreciate all your feedback for your topics. I will investigate those topics. I will talk about them. I will find some really interesting people, far more interesting than myself. I don't know if they'll be as funny as me, or they can do the same impersonations that I can, but but it'll be entertaining if nothing else. So anyway, thank you so much for all your support. This is the Original Strength Movement Snax podcast. See you next time.